Welcome, friends, to another power packed episode of Finomatic Talk Show where finance meets real world. Today, we have with us a special man who's been shaping the future of investing in India and beyond. Mr. Kailash Kulkarni is the CEO of HSBC Mutual Fund. With over 33 years of experience across top names like L&T Financial Services and now HSBC, Kailash sir has not just seen the evolution of mutual fund industry in India in the last 3 decades, he's actually led it. From heading AMFI's Financial Literacy Committee to actually contributing to SEBI's Mutual Fund Advisory Board, he's been the go-to person for wisdom and strategy. And here's a fun twist. When he's not decoding the market, guess what he's doing? He's either traveling the world or jumping into adventure sports. Yes, this young man over here loves adventure sports. So don't be surprised if his advice today comes with a dash of adrenaline today. So let's have a great conversation with Kailash sir today. So welcome, sir, to our show.
Thank you so much for that very interesting introduction, and welcome to all the viewers.
Right. So it's a pleasure to have you on our show, sir. And in today's session, we'll talk to you. We'll talk about all the stuff which is happening around the world, and with your leadership, with your vision, how the industry is shaping up. We'll try and figure that out in the next 30 minutes with you, sir. So let's start with the parentage of HSBC Mutual Fund, which is HSBC as a group. And we all know that HSBC is a conglomerate working out of so many countries. So I'll ask you this first question, sir, that as someone who has worked closely with global teams, how does HSBC Group leverage the India opportunity?
Oh, that's a very fair question, because the whole idea and the whole objective of HSBC buying L&T Mutual Fund 2.5 years ago was to immediately strengthen the size of the fund house. And the biggest USP was that HSBC Group believes that India is the next big story for the next 5-10 years and more. And hence, if you want to speeden up your growth, you needed to do the acquisition. And that was how the genesis happened. Obviously, that leads to also what can we contribute to the world and how can we leverage the various products, etc., that are there across the world for the benefit of the Indian consumers. Yes. And that's something we have really focused on. We are one of the few fund houses जिनके पास global funds हैं जो भारत में निवेश करते हैं, purely India dedicated funds.
Right.
And that is something we took out to the Western world. We went and made presentations about why India now. And the idea was to talk to as many clients across as many geographies which are there. So because we have present in so many countries, our respective asset management offices could contact their clients, get them into a room where we made this presentation. And let me tell you that while on one side we read headlines about FIS going away, etc., this business of international clients coming to India, we have trebled in the last 24 months. And that is thanks to the belief that the foreign investor has in terms of what they contribute to us or what they are looking at India and how India will benefit them by investing in India.
Right. So the entire world is looking at India. I'll ask you one question from where you left off, sir, that you do these presentations in front of foreign investors. If I were to ask you, what are the top 3 points that you personally use to convince the foreign investors as to why you should be investing in our country?
So first is that our growth is not on one engine. Say in the 98, 2000, it was on the IT engine. In the 2004 to 2007, it was on the infrastructure engine. Today, if you look at our growth, it is on multiple engines or multiple cylinders. So you take a car, which is a 4-cylinder car. If one cylinder is malfunctioning a little bit, use 3 cylinders, your car still runs. It doesn't come to a stop. So today's India growth story can be seen across financialization, digitization, infrastructure, consumer, multiple themes. And these are very broad themes. Under each of these sectors, there are many, many smaller sectors which are there. So it's a bigger story which people appreciate.
Yeah.
Second, even if you grow at say 6% GDP for the next many years, not 6.5, I'm saying 6%, okay? Just to be conservative in what
Yeah.
I'm talking, people are understanding that this will be possibly the fastest growth rate among the major countries in the
Correct.
world.
Correct.
So that's what is the story they like. And third, which is very important, which we didn't tell them, but they kind of told us. So I would like to say that also.
Okay.
They are not listening to the short term noise,
Okay.
which a lot of our Indian investors look at
Yeah.
and can mentally disrupted. कि भाई आज क्या हो रहा है, अरे ये हो गया, अरे ऐसा हो गया, अच्छा इधर कुछ हो गया. You know, that's a lot of noise which is disrupting us. So that is not something which we do. So they are actually very bullish about India.
Definitely, sir. Okay, coming to the next question, sir, that what is that one misconception that foreign investors often have about the Indian markets, and how do you address that?
So I wouldn't call it a misconception. I would rather call it certain facts which may not be very well known.
Okay.
Okay, so for example, is there enough depth in the Indian market?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are center and state governments working in tandem? Okay, they want more clarity on it.
Yeah.
As a long-term investor, see, they don't come for 1 month or 3 months or 6 months. They come for 10-year, 15-year, 20-year viewpoint. So they want to understand कि जो changes दिख रहे हैं उनको भारत में वो sustainable है या नहीं है. I think that's where they are coming from. And a lot of questions on all the initiatives from GST to simplification of tax to all the structural reforms, how sustainable it is, can it be reversed, etc. I think those are the questions which are being asked. So it's not misconceptions, it's wanting more clarity.
Yeah.
I think that is what is important.
Okay. All right, sir. So that's very insightful. Next question, sir, would be about the investor perception back here in our country. I mean, I've been working in this industry for like past 17 years now, and there are times when the investors do end up getting even 18-20% returns, but they're still not satisfied, and they feel like यार ये तो 25 तो बन ही जाता, तुम क्या 20 बना के दिखाए हो. But my question to you, sir, is that would that 18, 20, 22% matter in the long run for a client? Because ultimately, I feel that it is the goals, my dreams, my desires that I really want to achieve out of my money, and not some random figure that shows up on an Excel sheet. So my question to you, sir, is that most investors still think in terms of returns, not goals. How can our industry shift the mindset from chasing percentage returns to actually achieving life milestones?
So that is a huge work in progress.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because historically the stock market in India has given very good returns, we tend to chase those very high returns, and our communication colloquially, regionally is all return, return, return.
Correct.
बट एक सिंपल सी चीज मैं बताना चाहता हूँ. जब हम एक स्लाइड दिखाते हैं कि सेंसेक्स ने फ्रॉम इंसेप्शन टिल डेट 14.5% रिटर्न दिया है, वी आर सेटिंग अ रॉन्ग बेंचमार्क. ठीक है, बिकॉज द एक्सपेक्टेशन इज फिर वो 14% और अल्फा देगा फंड मैनेजर, सो इट विल बी मोर देन 14%.
Yes.
बट द नरेटिव शुड बी कि जब ये 14.5% मिला था, आपका रिस्क फ्री रिटर्न जो था, जो रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया का
Benchmark,
रिटर्न
yes.
में was around 10-11%
Yeah.
at that time historically, because it was much higher than it came down.
Yeah.
तो अगर आप देखोगे you got 50% more return than the risk free return, तो वो एक्सेप्टेबल हो जाता है. आज रिस्क फ्री रिटर्न क्या है?
6.5%, 7%.
6.5?
Yeah, correct.
ठीक है, तो 6.5 के ऊपर आप 50% लगा दो, कितना हो गया? 10 हो गया.
Yeah.
तो अगर आपको 12 मिला तो यू शुड बी हैप्पी. बट नन ऑफ अस टॉक दैट लैंग्वेज.
Exactly.
ठीक है, none of us. We are at fault, everyone is at fault. So we need to change the dialogue and we need to give such examples to people so people will move away from that. Second, goal based investment जो आपने अभी जिक्र किया कि should we focus on goals, and if my goal gets attained in that many years, then irrespective of what percentage it is, how does it matter?
Agreed. I'll be more happy seeing my daughter go to the best college rather than crib about the fact कि यार 14 ही क्यों आया, 16 आना चाहिए था.
बिल्कुल.
Right. Okay. So now coming to the masses, sir, and I got to know that you are the damad of Dhanbad. So and we do a lot of work in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and we are trying to figure out mutual funds at a very small level in the rural India. Just imagine, sir, that a random person downloads a mutual fund app after seeing your mutual fund Sahi campaign that you guys are doing so brilliantly, and he comes out with some category name which says that look, this is hybrid dynamic asset allocation, and he goes back and says, यार मेरे को कुछ FD वाला चाहिए था. So, I mean, are the investors being able to relate with mutual funds in the language that we are talking with them?
So, had you asked me this question 5 years ago, answer was very clear. No. Because our communication was very elite.
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
Only went for a certain section in the market.
Yeah.
I think in the last 5 years that has transgressed. We have used celebrities at the amphi level. It communicates that SIP is important in your life, volatility is there. So there are multiple messages, and I think these messages have gone down very well with the masses. So to give you a fundamental statistics, in 2024, the industry added nearly 90 lakh plus clients.
Agreed.
New to industry.
Yeah.
In 1 year, which is like 1/4 of what we had added in 30 years.
Agreed. Correct.
Okay. So that clearly shows the message is starting to go down to the masses.
Yeah.
But can we do more regional language? Can we do more easier words? तो अगर हम वो करेंगे तो लोग शायद ज़्यादा सोचेंगे. आज धनबाद का जिक्र किया इसीलिए बोलता हूँ, 5 साल पहले मुझे कोई पूछता भी नहीं था कि क्या म्यूचुअल फंड में निवेश करना चाहिए क्या. आज लोग सामने से पूछते हैं, क्या आप बता सकते हो क्या?
नहीं, आई कैन वेरी वेल रिलेट टू इट सर. दैट आई रिमेंबर आज से 6-7 साल पहले जब हम छोटे छोटे लोकेशंस में आते थे इन्वेस्टर मीट्स करने के लिए, द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन दैट द ऑडियंस इज टू आस्क मी इज दैट हितेश, ये म्यूचुअल फंड और चिट फंड सेम है क्या, क्योंकि दोनों का सरनेम तो एक ही है. बट दैट वाज द लेवल ऑफ क्वेश्चंस वी यूज्ड टू गेट आस्क्ड, एंड टुडे व्हेन आई गो टू दीस प्रोग्राम्स एंड आई आस्क कि हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव इन्वेस्टेड इन म्यूचुअल फंड, देन शायद 5 लोग हाथ उठा देते हैं, वो बोलते हैं कि सर मैंने वो ग्रो से कर दिया, वो जीरोधा से कर दिया, मैंने ऑनलाइन अपने आप ही कर दिया है. सो थिंग्स हैव डेफिनेटली पेनिट्रेटेड टू द ग्राउंड लेवल सर. ओके, नाउ अगेन दिस इज अ वेरी I would want you to put your thinking hat, sir, and let's say if we were to come out with an NFO, right, a new fund offer, and I ask you to design a mutual fund for a Gen Z customer, a 25-year-old customer who understands the world of memes, influencers, discount coupons, cashbacks. If you were to create a product for an investor who comes from that genre, who comes from that level of understanding, then how would you create a mutual fund? What features would it have? Would you recommend it in SIP or lump sum mode? So your thoughts on this are completely random.
You know what will be the underlying fund according to me?
Yeah.
It will be as simple as an index fund.
Okay.
Okay. But if I call it an index fund, it's too boring. Nobody will buy it.
Yeah.
So it's more of a marketing initiative that I'll have to do, as to coin it in a manner which makes it sound very exciting,
Okay.
makes it sound very new, but the underlying should be simple.
Yes.
And the reason is the Gen Z or the next gen are also very short, they have a shorter horizon. So if they have a bad experience, very quickly they will exit.
Correct.
And it disappoints them, and they may not get to see the fruits of the fund growing over a period of time. So while we can create a marketing
Communication
comfort around it in terms of making it sound very new and nice, the underlying should be as basic as possible, which will actually enrich the experience for those people. That's number one. So I don't know whether you have seen our SIP ads So when we did our first campaign, we did hashtag फायदे वाली आदत.
Correct.
इट्स अ वेरी लोकल कम्युनिटी. फायदे वाली आदत, फायदा सब समझते हैं, आदत सब समझते हैं. तो फायदे वाली आदत क्या है ये? तो SIP है, वो भी HSBC से. टिपिकली द थिंग इज HSBC विल बी मोर इंग्लिश, बट हियर वी आर टॉकिंग. देन आपको सिप को क्या दिया? प्रमोशन. Yeah, that's the second one. And the third one is more retire to more.
Okay.
That's how it is. So it's evolving, but it's catering to this audience.
Agreed. Right, sir. Okay, we all have heard about SIPs, but SWPs is something which is now catching the fancy, but is not really well understood in the market. So I always say that look, SIP is like the Salman Khan of our industry. Everyone loves him, but SWP is that poor sibling Arbaz Khan that hardly anyone talks about. So we talk a lot about SIPs for building wealth, but very little about SWPs for enjoying that wealth. Why do you think SWPs aren't as popular in India yet, especially amongst the retirees? And how can they be better positioned for investors looking at investor planning, sir?
So I completely agree with you. There's not enough conversation around it. But let's look at the evolution. First, you need to get people in
Right.
the industry. That is what SIP has now started to do. So your SIP numbers are growing month on month. Even yesterday numbers are there. It is much higher than the previous one. So that first step is achieved. I think the conversation will slowly shift to SWP.
Yeah.
Going directly to something which you're talking about withdrawal before allowing people to enter, I think that's not the right way of communicating. So that is why I think SWP will follow SIP. And I see in the next 5 years, SWP will become as popular as SIP. It's just a conversation, like you said, has begun,
Yeah.
and will continue to grow.
So what I mean, just randomly, I'm thinking, sir, that every communication from Amphi, from the industry, we talk about the SIP book. That look, this is the SIP book that's hitting every month. We should also start talking about the SWP book.
So I'm not disputing it, but think about it in a different manner. Okay? Let's really look at it. 50% of your investors have only come in the last 5 years.
Yes.
Is it not too early to talk about withdrawal?
Yeah.
About their product? Because you are talking of 10, 15, 20 years of investments, typically long-term goals. You want to invest when your child is 4 years old for his or her college, which is like 15 years away. Yeah. You want to talk about your retirement, which is like 30, 40 years away. तो अभी से SWP बात करना चाहिए या numbers देने चाहिए या
let it grow first.
Let it grow first. So hence I'm saying entry हो रही है, entry होने दो, ठीक है? उसके बाद जो करना है कर सकते हैं. So that is the slight difference that I have in terms of pitching something today, because it shouldn't get construed that अरे withdrawal plan है तो चलो चालू करो withdrawal करना. That is why I'm saying.
Right. Great. So till now we are having a great conversation with Kailash sir, but now I would prick your brains something on your personal life, sir, and want to draw parallels in the investment universe and take inspiration from leadership that you have demonstrated over so many years. So first thing, sir, that you've been working in the industry for like more than 3.5 decades now. So there are many half-truths in the market around SIPs, NFOs, risk and returns. What's one myth that you keep encountering that you feel is particularly damaging for the investors and you would really want to address that?
10 rupees is cheaper. That's the biggest myth, I think, in this industry. Okay. That's why whenever a new NFO comes in, people flock to it thinking it is cheaper. And that needs to be busted, because for us, every product is at 10 rupees, right? And it is mark to market finally at the end of the day. And mark to market is real life value at that point in time. But that's a myth, somehow is taking much longer to bust than any other myth which is there.
Agreed. I mean, I've seen many investors think यार 10 के NAV में दे रहे तो बहुत ज़्यादा यूनिट मिलेंगे और इसलिए मेरा NAV कभी 10 के नीचे जा नहीं सकता. That is not true, because ultimately if the markets fall, then definitely even the NAVs can go down below 10. That's right. Agreed. All right, sir. Okay, now from a leadership lens, sir, that what's the most difficult leadership moment that you came that would have woken you up at midnight and it can be with relation to market pressure or some people decisions or regulatory chaos. So, what was that one moment that really made you sit up and looking back, what did it teach you?
So if I have to point out at any particular event which kind of caused a lot of heartburn and we had to redesign our communication strategy, how do we communicate? I think it was when COVID hit all of us and the markets corrected 30-35%. Uh, that was a time, when the news surrounding the entire thing is, oh, this is a long term, we don't know how this is going to recover. And then you still need to get people to save and invest, right?
Yeah.
And just look at it at that point of time, virtually the only product I can say who was alive to take money and redeem, because a lot of people had their businesses shut and they didn't have liquidity, was our product. So it was a much superior product. But how do you communicate that? How do you communicate it in the right language given the situation at hand?
Yeah.
You can't demean the situation by talking ill about it, because that's a real life situation.
Agreed.
People have actually lost their lives.
Yeah.
So you cannot demean it, but you need to use that situation to try and build your business. And I think that was a tough one.
Yeah.
At that point of time. And getting out of that was important.
Right. Okay. So, do you ever bring your team or colleagues into your passion like wildlife, trails, treks, or outdoor bonding experiences? Do you do that with your team?
I try and do it, especially on wildlife.
All right.
And travel.
Okay.
That's something I live for. I think everybody should have some kind of a passion.
Yeah.
Whatever is that passion. Somebody could be just wanting to ride a cycle for 80 kilometers, go out, see. So for me, it's travel and wildlife. And I think I've inspired a lot of people to travel a lot. Okay. So I am unofficially known in our industry as the brand ambassador of the Northeast.
All right.
Okay, so that's something I pride myself in.
Okay.
Because I started traveling to the Northeast, found it so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I went and recommended it to people. And not too many people used to travel to the Northeast. Today, of course, many more people do.
Yeah.
Wildlife has been a passion. I go to virtually every wildlife sanctuary that I can visit. I do that.
So my maternal side is from Nagaland.
Oh, okay.
And I have seen the cities of Kohima, and it's like paradise on earth.
Absolutely. So any state in the Northeast, according to me, one should visit for two things: learn discipline and learn hygiene.
Yes.
As compared to the rest of India, I think they're just super at it, and that's something we should all emulate.
Yeah, I think Monindong is the cleanest village in Asia.
Yes.
Right, that's a place in
Meghalaya.
Right. Okay, so sir, if you could design an ideal workation for your team, combining business, nature, and photography, what would it look like, and where would you go?
So I'll clearly go to the jungle.
All right.
Okay, and I'll tell you why. One of the things which jungles teach you is patience.
Yeah.
Okay, there are times when you will not see an animal for 80% of your safari.
Mm-hmm.
But that magic 10% can happen anytime.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be literally at the fag end when you're returning back from the safari.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get irritated, disillusioned, then you've lost the plot.
Yeah.
So jungles teach you patience. Jungles teach you about nature. I think jungles teach you also a lot more in terms of calmness. Mm-hmm. Seeing many more things which are beautiful and not just waiting for that one elusive tiger. Mm-hmm. You start seeing beauty in trees, in leaves, in birds, in smaller animals, all that.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're widening your horizon substantially. Mm-hmm. And that's why I feel it's a great team building exercise.
Yeah.
When you want to do something like that.
Would love to go on a safari with you, sir, one day.
Welcome.
But I would want one travel advice from you, sir, that you have traveled across continents, you've seen so many places. What's that one offbeat place that left a lasting impression on you, and why?
So I am a traveler who prefers to travel to the non-touristy locations. So I try to do something different even if I'm in a tourist location. So I'll give you two examples. Everybody goes to Malaysia, everybody goes to Kuala Lumpur, but just 2 hours away from Kuala Lumpur city is a place called Selangor district.
Okay.
And in Selangor district, there is a Mashi area.
Okay.
And there is the highest congregation of fireflies, जुगनू.
Okay.
सबसे ज्यादा है, वर्ल्ड के सबसे ज्यादा जुगनू उस स्पॉट पे मिलते हैं.
अच्छा.
एंड वहां जाके रात को वो जुगनू देखना
Would be
इज अ
mesmerizing.
डिफरेंट लेवल, क्योंकि तुम फोटो नहीं खींच सकते. यू नीड अ वेरी प्रोफेशनल कैमरा टू
Yes.
टेक द. It's what you see and what gets remains in your head.
Wow.
So while everybody goes there, people don't do this. Or I'll ask you a very simple question. You've gone to Goa?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Do you know there's a crocodile tour in Goa?
No.
Nobody knows it. Because when you think of Goa, you think of beach, you think of parties.
Yes.
But there's a crocodile tour inside Goa. South
Okay.
Goa se wo chalti hai. It's a ferry ride.
Okay.
3 hours, 4 hours. And you see so many crocodile. They are muggers actually, which have adapted to salt water and fresh water.
Okay.
Very unique species.
Okay.
So it's something which you can do next door to you.
Okay.
Next time people visit Goa, I would suggest you do that.
All right. All right. Okay. You're passionate about wildlife photography. I've been told by your team so that you do a lot of wildlife photography. Do you see any parallels between waiting for the perfect wildlife shot and investing?
So, one of my favorite wildlife, or rather nature photographers, I wouldn't say wildlife photographer, is a person by the name of Dewitt Jones.
Okay.
He used to be one of the most popular National Geographic photographers. And one of the stats in National Geographic, I should tell you, the photos are so beautiful. But that one photo which gets printed in that magazine, there are 400 photos which are clicked.
Okay.
And out of 400 photos, that one photo gets selected. So you can imagine the competition. Right? In today's day and age, we are all in this competitive world.
Yeah.
He has a beautiful line, and I follow it. He says, celebrate what's right in the world.
Okay.
And he has given stories which say that आप आगे क्यों बढ़ रहे हो, जो है उधर क्या सुंदर है वो देखो. Why are you saying, oh, आज कुछ दिखा नहीं, कुछ तो होगा वहां पे.
Correct.
जो अच्छा दिखेगा आपको. So he is so beautifully puts it in a story format, and I really follow him, and I'm very inspired by Dewitt Jones.
I remember that I was in one of these trips and the travel guide told me that, look, if you really want to enjoy a place, don't be a tourist, be a traveler.
Yeah.
And that line actually left a very lasting impression on me. Something similar to what you said. Okay, so has adventure taught you anything about taking calculated risks in business?
Oh yes, hell of a lot. For example, adventure sports doesn't mean just jumping out of an aeroplane or doing a hang gliding or motocrossing or things like that. When you do this, you have to understand what are the risks. Be ready to say, I am willing to take that risk. You should know the downside of failing,
Yeah.
what can happen. And only then you say, yes, I'll do it, yes or no. So it's not something that you do just because it is a trend. कि सब लोगों ने ये कर दिया तो मैं भी करूंगा. So what does that imply in investment? It's the same thing, right? कि अगर इन्वेस्ट करना है तो क्यों करना है, क्या करना है, डाउनसाइड रिस्क. प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि हम लोग डाउनसाइड रिस्क का बात ही नहीं करते हैं जब डिसीजन लेते हैं कि आई वांट टू इन्वेस्ट इन दिस प्रोडक्ट. वी ओनली टॉक ऑफ लास्ट 3 ईयर रिटर्न क्या है.
Correct.
कितने लोगों ने ये डिस्कस किया कि डाउनसाइड रिस्क क्या है. अगर हम लोग डाउनसाइड रिस्क बात करेंगे ऑन डे वन ऑफ योर इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइस, आई थिंक people will be much better informed investors. That's my belief. So it's very similar to taking a risk in, if I want to go for a motor rally, it's the same. I need to be very clear where I can handle the car well, where I cannot handle the car well, and what skill I need to learn to handle it in rough terrains.
Right.
That way.
Right. So I think we have had a great conversation till now, and I would want you to, sir, give one last final message to the audience as to where do you think what the investors should be doing, where India is heading, And one final message from your side, sir, as to how we can go about the markets.
So, I personally am very bullish about India
Yeah.
as a story. I think the next decade belongs to us. Bharat Varsh की story है, and if you want to really make money, this is the place to invest your money. So be invested. Don't worry about volatility. Volatility is your friend. Invest in volatility. If the markets tank due to some global reason and not an India specific reason, invest more on that day rather than just staying out and getting afraid. Do not stop your SIPs at all, irrespective of what you do. If you have signed up for a 15-year or 20-year SIP, please continue it. Do not stop it. And most important is find out what the downside risks are in every product that you are choosing or you're being recommended. I think these are the few things I would like to say. But should you be investing in India? The answer is yes. And lastly, because then it becomes very equity oriented, there is a large fixed income allocation which you typically keep in very traditional instruments. So start looking at mutual funds also, something like an income plus arbitrage fund which has a 12.5% taxation after 2 years.
Yes.
Great product for HNIs to get their money into. So don't think that mutual funds is only equal to equity. Mutual funds is across all products.
Right. So I guess we are really blessed today that we had these words of wisdom from Kailash sir, who has actually seen it all in our markets as it has unfolded. I would just keep on going about questions with you, sir, but I think for the paucity of time, we would call it a day today. And thank you so much, sir, for coming into our office.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you to all of you who've been listening so patiently to my talk.
Right. Thank you, friends.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risk. Read all scheme related documents carefully.